What's going on, everyone, everywhere? Welcome back to another video, man. Look, you already see by the title of the video, man. We back at it with another loadout or build video, whatever you want to call it, man. And in this video, man, I'm gonna tell you how to do it for any and all powers in DC Universe Online, okay? How to do a pet DPS build, whether you're in a support role or a damage role, man. This stuff does mad damage. You can even check out my last video where I was talking about the Elite Plus for the new God-sized pyramid alert. I was doing the regular version and I was able to come top as the healer with this particular build, man. It's crazy, man. If you're Earth, it works the best. Sorcery's probably second best. It works good for, nature, ice, even electricity, man. Munitions, it can work for any and all powers. Those are just some of the ones that has a little bit of extra that you can do for it, okay? Being that, like, with nature, you can put in a swarm. Ice, I think, got the little ice devil joint, okay? But look, let's just hop into it, okay? What am I talking about, man? So look, we got the same old, man. We don't have DPS gear. And I would say, whatever gear is your higher gear, I would go with, okay? So for me, it's my DPS gear currently at the moment, just because I got this elite pieces on it. If it's your support role gear, use your support role gear. If you're DPS gear, use DPS gear, okay? But we're really just whatever gear is the highest, okay? Weapon don't really matter. I'll use rifle just because you get a couple taps in there here and there. If any mounts, doesn't really matter because you don't need it. That's the beauty of this build, man. You don't really need much of anything. You don't need to focus on any particular stats. This just works perfectly if you have your artifacts up to 200. It's phenomenal, okay? So all you really need for this build is just high CR gear and a tier 3 pet, whatever it is, okay? You can look up at a City and Chill's video to figure out what tier 3 pet you want to use. I'm normally just rocking the mother box at this point because that's what I got, okay? So that's just me, but y'all are free to use whatever. Henchmen, definitely throw on some henchmen, man. They definitely do some, nice amount of damage to throw in there, okay? Now you will see a lot of times you'll think the henchmen will do better damage, and they will, of course, in particular content. But when you're trying to do it on the smart targets and whatnot, sometimes you see your damage go down and your hit numbers go up. This is a henchman. Even with them doing a slight increase in damage, they normally only hit for not that much. They're not hitting like big chunks of damage numbers. Okay, their little 700 is going to like 1,000 or something like that. Okay, just rough estimates and stuff. Okay, and then supply drop or orbital for your 4th trinket, okay? That's what you really want to have for your trinkets. Just have a tier 3 pet, have your henchman / backup, whichever one is of your choosing. I prefer normally running whatever is the latest one for the current DLC that you're playing. But these ones aren't really current. They're from a past DLC, but it's all good, okay? These ones actually help me out personally because with the artifact, they actually polarize enemies, which will help allow my loadout do a little bit more damage, so it definitely helps me out there. You can definitely throw in a buff trinket because it does help your damage out slightly. Now, if you're a support role, definitely, use this free slot to your advantage. You could just rock the orbital in this bad boy and keep your supply drop right there, or just use a stat buff trinket. DPS, use your, DPS stat buffs. Tanks, use your health. Controllers, use your ones. Healers, use yours, okay? You're more than welcome to do it that way. That's why I have it for a current setup, just because it's easier to clip things. But in all honesty, man, you don't really need this. It's nice to have, but it's whatever, man. All your damage and majority of your damage really don't come from the pets, and the pets alone, okay? Now over to the artifacts, okay? The artifacts is what makes this loadout work, okay? It's what makes this whole build work for any and all powers. And what you need is Mercy, Amazotron Matrix artifact, up to 200, that is, okay? Now with this, we gotta use that Mercy attack protocol, all right? And we're gonna utilize some of the restorative, the reactive, field, especially with that increased by 100 damage. Okay. And then the defense one's good too. Just keep our pets up and running at all times. And we're definitely throwing that sword shard, okay, with that Godwave strength. We're gonna try to get that 25% chance to keep refreshing that Godwave strength. That allows us to do 200% more damage for 5 seconds for 3 pets when you get to 200. I think, what, 160, about 2 pets. So you're definitely gonna see a major increase in damage from that 160 to 200 gap for this particular pet build. So keep that in mind, okay? And then we come over to the Quizlet. Now the Quizlet, we all know, is pretty much better, you know, pound for pound than the Grim. The Grim does do power interactions, but when you have the Mercy artifact here, you're actually able to do the power interactions with the Mercy artifact, okay? So your Exabyte attuned, you know, Robot Sidekick or whatever is able to do those, and your henchmen, your backup, are able to do whatever they're tuned for. Like the Bat bots who laugh actually help polarize enemies, okay? So definitely keep that in mind. But as far as Quizlet just as a base level, and excuse me y'all, I am a little sick, so bear with me. As a base level, and whenever you do hit a supercharge, it does do a good amount of high damage, man. Plus allows you to get a little bit more supercharger generation back into the fold, which is just absolutely phenomenal at all times. You definitely want to hit the Mega Blast and the Refractor Beams from said supercharge usage, okay? Which definitely come and help, I feel like, especially with electricity in particular, just because of our particular loadout, okay, that we're going to be running. Now, the only other thing that you really need to tie this in, besides your trinkets, some high gear, and your artifacts here, are your allies. Now, so the combat ally is definitely on your, you know, up to you. You're not worried about that whatsoever at all. Okay, now, I like to run Heat Vision with Crypto as my combat one when it comes to single target boss fights. But you can use Batman, or you can use Superman. Superman, if you have him all maxed up, he's the best in the game. Batman's number 2, and it's actually a close number 2, so you can definitely utilize him for that AoE damage, okay? Now, if you don't have something like that, you can definitely rock the Cyborg. Crypto should be pretty easy to get, but if you have House Legends bot, there's a little bit less damage that you are going to do with House Legends bot, okay? And he might target the wrong person, so you might not actually hit the boss, you might hit someone else. So you got a little discrepancy right there, but it's all good nonetheless. But what we're really here for the allies for is for Emperor Aquaman, okay? You want to get him up to level 10 as soon as possible when you're using this build here. Just because, as you see right here, with the Hear My Call support ability, you're going to do summoned pets. Outgoing damage is increased by 10% when you take damage, okay? So this build does benefit when you're kind of in the mix to that close range, that melee range to mid range kind of battle. Whenever you take damage, you're able to get that proc of 10% additional damage on top of what you're already doing, which is absolutely phenomenal, okay? Now, for your second support slot here, you can pretty much use anything. I like to use Luck of the Draw just because it's all around a good thing to have no matter what case, what scenario may it be. Well, you get the increased crits, increased stats, increased power regeneration, increased health. Does not matter. You're just getting all around good buffs. You really don't need anything else, and it's very situational dependent on what you're doing. So I'll definitely take that into consideration. Now, when the Shazam comes out with the new allies, you can definitely utilize him as a second slot. If you're going to keep spamming out your ally, you can do that. Or you can even, depending on what kind of build you're running, you could use Black Adam for the power of at 10. Okay, the Supercharge Generator ability generates, you know, 35% more supercharge when you have them all the way up to affinity level 10, and it kind of scales down by 5% for each level before that. Okay, now I don't really see any other ones you possibly would want to use. You could possibly use a Cloak of Ensnare and start rolling around, but that's not going to be the most beneficial for you. I will honestly go with either Luck of the Draw or Black Adam, depending on your particular build and your particular power. Okay, even from the shadows, probably not going to be your best bet. Now, it could possibly be when you're using something like how I'm doing with Spark Barrage, which allows you to hit multiple enemies. Actually, right there, you got about like, what is that, like 5 to 6 little things, and you're hitting a whole bunch of ads, a whole bunch of dots real quick. So something like that can help you get up to that 100 hit counter pretty quickly. So Batman isn't off the table, but just the Batman who lasts with luck of the draw is probably going to be your go-to, okay, for most case scenarios. Okay, now that we got the allies out the way, pretty much mainly Emperor Aquaman is a must-have. Figure out the rest of the stuff depending on your particular power and build from there. Mind you, just a reminder, high level gear, tier 3 pet, some henchmen, the other two really don't matter. Your artifacts with the Mercy, Sword Shard, and Quizlet is what you're gonna want to do for this loadout, okay? Now, in terms of the actual loadout itself, we're definitely gonna have the Godwave strength from our one artifact and our Mercy attack protocol from the other, okay? This is Sword Shard artifact, and this is the Mercy's artifact, okay? Now, you're definitely gonna want to hit them in the Godwave strength first, and then the Mercy attack second, okay? So you can increase all the damage for the next 5 seconds by 200, and then make your pets hit that additional damage, okay? That's what you definitely want to do. Now, this build wouldn't be complete without our Robot Sidekick, which is another ability that is pretty much mandatory at this point. With the electric, this is the loadout I find the most effective and the best for it. You definitely want something that you can spam. I like using Spark Barrage just because it actually does do pretty good damage if you're able to keep spamming it out. And I like the fact that you have to be close for it, which then allow me to take some damage, which then in turn allow me to get that boost up there. Okay, it just helps me all around in every way. Then we have the Godwave strength and Mercy's attack protocol, as you already know. Then we have Tesla Ball, just because for electric, each strike of Tesla Ball gives us some more Supercharger Generation, and we want the Supercharger Generation for our Circuit Breaker right here. So we can proc this Quizlet and allow it to use the Mega Blast and Refracto Beam, okay? So when we utilize our Circuit Breaker by us getting a Supercharge Generator, if you will, or which luckily for electric, the best Supercharge Generation is not actually Static Push, it's Tesla Ball, and it also happens to be a dot, which then allows us to hit the Supercharge and keep going pretty much. But I will say you pretty much as a mandatory are going to need Godwave strength, Mercy's attack protocol, and your Robot Sidekick or Crystal or Fury, okay, as the 3 mandatory ones. Now, if you're Earth, this works best because you can just use Jackhammer here, and then pretty much you don't have to care about the rest. I think you use like Totem to keep your stuff going. And there is a way, I have no idea how to do it, but I think there's a way to get your Robot Sidekick and like a Crystal or Fury going at the same time. So definitely keep that in mind and keep that, in your little scope of view. Now, I do believe that the Mercy's attack protocol, if I'm not mistaken, it will replace, it replaces the Fortify and Offering power to grant a new power. So yeah, you won't have to worry about that taking up an additional slot on your loadout. So definitely keep, the 2 mandatory Godwave strength and Mercy's attack protocol, along with whatever pet that you are choosing. If you're someone like Earth or Sorcery, you may be able to figure out a way to summon both your power-based pet and your Robot Sidekick as well, okay? Then you can always throw in a Supercharge. I like to keep it around 5,000 in case you have the EOG spammer in the group, just so you can keep pumping out that damage. For whatever reason, let's say you're not able to summon 2 pets, then go ahead and get a Supercharge Generator or something of a dot like Tesla bought, which able to generate a nice amount of supercharge, also doing a good amount of dot damage as well. Okay. And make sure it is a mandatory that you have something spammable so you can quickly reset this Godwave string to come back as many times as humanly possible, okay, or statistically possible with the RNG that you may have. Okay, now I'll use Spark Barrage for electricity. If I'm not using Spark Barrage, I'll probably use something like Shockwave for a bit of a longer, medium to long range kind of deal. And if it's more single target wise, then I can definitely pull out something like Tesla Blast, okay, where I can just keep spamming this ability over and over again, okay. Now, I will say in this Tesla Ball stock, if let's say you are Nature or you are Ice, for example, those two have an additional pet. Nature has Swarm, Ice has the Ice Devil pet that you can throw in here as well. That's allowing you to do just that much more damage, okay. That's an additional pet that will count for the Godwave strength in particular. Okay, it won't count for your Mercy attack protocol. That is specific to the Crystal, the Fury, or the Robot Sidekick, as you see here. But the Godwave strength will allow that Swarm to do, or that Ice Devil to do a tremendous amount of damage. So Nature and Ice, you're definitely going to step up here. Electricity can get that step up since, it can make do with the Supercharge thing, but the Supercharge is definitely not whatsoever at all required to make this build work. Just you using your pet, the Mercy's attack protocol and the Godwave strength with a spammable ability, that's honestly all you need. These other two slots are purely free slots. That's whatever you want to do. If you want to throw on the shield, hey, throw on the shield. I wouldn't advise it because you do need to take damage for Emperor Aquaman to give you that 10% bonus damage there. But definitely utilize the free slots to your advantage. Now, when it comes to someone like Celestial, I would use like Haunt and Smite, those pretty cheap 100 power cost moves back and forth, since you can pretty much combo those back and forth infinitely as the moves to do, okay, while also still having the all these other moves in the mix, and having probably like Neo Venom here instead of Circuit Breaker, or even Cursed Idol. Cursed Idol will work tremendously with this as well, since you're able to get everything down, and once you kill something, it pretty much kills everything else and wipes it all out. So that is definitely something you can pretty much make this build and this particular loadout work with any power. I got a homeboy using on munitions, people with earth, sorcery been using this. I can make it work with electricity, Celestial as you heard, Nature as you heard, Ice as you heard, man. It can work with fire, it can work with mental, it can work with any and everyone, man. Gadgets even. Like, this thing can work with any power in the game. It's an all-encompassing for everyone build. And if you didn't think it's just for damage, man, it is for support roles as well. Like I said, the Earth Tank was using it, he was doing a tremendous amount of damage. I've used it as a healer and done a tremendous amount of damage. Now, I'm not sure why my healer is looking a little messed up right now, but let's go ahead and fix that. Now, what you want to do is, for your healer at least, use your priority heal, just because it's able to spam this quite frequently, quite often. Still use your Godwave strength and your Mercy's attack protocol there. Definitely have your Robot Sidekick in the mix. Okay, now for healer, I would actually use something like Megavolt as opposed to Circuit Breaker, since we are not going to have anything else that's really going to do damage by itself, because we're going to use Recover, okay, as well. Recover and Bottler Surge, pretty much your priority heal and your group heal, should keep your group up as long as you have power pretty much indefinitely. You pretty much should be good. And let's say if you're struggling with power for whatever reason, you should use Batman, who lasts with luck of the draw, or switch over to Cyborg with all your base to get that extra power recovery, that power generation, okay? So keep that in mind when it comes to the healing loadout of this. Now, it definitely works all the same, and I would just use Megavolt as opposed to something like Circuit Breaker, just because of how Megavolt, although it's not going to do the most particular damage. We're not really caring about its damage per se. We just know it's going to hit a little bit harder than as opposed to something like Circuit Breaker. Okay, because we're not. Circuit Breaker is only going to maybe increase our weapon damage, which is not going to be as tremendous of a damage increase or damage production as well as like Mega Volts is going to do by itself without us doing anything additional. Okay. So to keep that in consideration, you could use something like Word of Power too if you really wanted to. I just like to use Mega Vault, okay? So you can use like, what is it, Oblivion, I think, for Quantum. Like there's so many combinations, so many things that you can do with this particular loadout, and it works for any and all powers, any and all roles as well, okay? So it's definitely all up to you, whatever you want to do, however you want to use it, man. This stuff works incredibly well. Now, I will say, in terms of our spec, weapon, you pretty much don't need anything. I would just say get whatever the top one is for you to just spec into it. Just like I have here with bow. Just spec that, call it a day, okay? You don't really need anything else. You're going to be spamming your powers constantly, trying to get this stuff to proc so your pets can keep doing more and more damage. You don't need anything else, honestly. Maybe you get your knockbacks and breakout recovery and mastery here, just so you're always on top, always on your feet, always able to break out and can recover some power if you do get low for whatever reason. Okay. And iconics, definitely get Robot Sidekick, so you're able to get the Robot Sidekick and Exhibit Attune Robot Sidekick as well if you are needing those. Word of Power if you are going to use that. Neo Venom Boost if you are going to use that. These are definitely ones that are completely and utterly on you. There's nothing that is pretty much required outside of the handful of things that it is. Okay, this build leaves a lot of gray area and free space for us to do any and all things we want to do. Okay, I would even get Super Strength too, just to be on the safe side about things. And in terms of stat points, you pretty much don't need anything. I would just get super powered focus just for extra power and power generation. Then other than that, you really don't need much. If you're trying to do more damage, just get your attack chance and damage. You're doing support role stuff like healing, get your healing chance and magnitude, controlling, power chance, power magnitude, okay? And yeah, there's pretty much nothing else to it. Pretty much all you need. It's not very skill point heavy. It's not very anything heavy. Just the higher gear that you have, the more damage you can do, since your pets scale to your CR. So that's definitely gonna make a humongous difference there. And just make sure that your artifacts, these three in particular, are up to rank 200. Okay. Now they can work at 160 as well. But at rank 200 is where you're going to maximize and really see that you can use this and come out on top damage board majority of the times. Now, of course, if people are tryharding and, able to EOG spam and get the supercharge off and whatnot, other DPS can out DPS you. But on a general basis, if you're doing what you're supposed to be doing and running this the way you need to run it, for me, it will look something like this. I would hit my Tesla ball, Godwave strength versus attack. I'll just keep spamming. Bam. Just wait for stuff to come off cooldown. Spam as you get the opportunity. See Godwave strength is back up. Hit that attack protocol. Spam. Oh, let me get the pet out here. And whenever you summon your pets, you get additional damage too. It does a nice amount of damage. Okay, you see we're already in 200 something K, okay? Ooh, I messed that up. So on the actual parser itself, 283,000 right there, okay? So as you see, man, you're expecting numbers like that. Pretty consistent, pretty regular. I was gonna have to try to explain this, but luckily I wasn't needing to, okay? So 283,000 is in that range. It's the 260,000 to 280,000 what you're really going to be expecting at my particular gear level and score. Now I'm going to show you my stats just so everyone's aware. Now you already saw my gear. I got a few, 4 pieces of elite gear, OP back, OP neck, and not all the way, but almost OP head. Okay, I got 338 gear for everything else. Okay. My CR is 393. My might is 186,311. Precision is 72,394. Okay, you see what I'm working with. See what I got. I'm able to hit those kind of numbers. Now, I have the footage of this. I've been able to hit without any supercharges or trinkets besides, you know, the normal trinket, the normal pet, tier 3 pet trinket. Been able to hit all the way up to 311,000 damage per second. Okay, that's a 10-second parser. I was able to hit that much damage. Okay, about over 3 mil in 10 seconds. Okay, absolutely crazy. I'm able to even hit 3 mil pretty consistent. I was able to hit a few times when I was testing this out. So it's definitely something that can do good, very good damage, especially if you're not hitting supercharges and you don't have no EOG spammer in the group and stuff like that. You're still able to maximize so well on this build. Okay, I cannot stress this enough, man. This thing is a game changer to me, man. This is amazing. This is very fun to, you know, to do with, to deal with, whatever the case may be, man. This joint is fun, to say the least. Okay. Now I will say your ally does not count as a pet, but your henchman and your tier 3 pet does. Okay. And of course your Robot Sidekick, Crystal or Fury does as well. Even your Watcher, Golem, Guardian, what is it, Brick does as well. But if it's not Robot Sidekick, Crystal or Fury, you won't be able to take advantage of the Mercy Attack protocol for the additional damage that it does with that particular ability. Okay, so look, I think I've talked enough. I think I explained enough. Y'all have at it. Y'all have fun. Let me know in the comment section down below how you feel about this particular build. Try it out for yourself. If you have any kind of hesitations or any kind of type of concerns, let me know in the comment section down below or hit me up in game. Okay, I'm fully free to talk to everyone, everywhere. It does not matter. Please bear with me, y'all. I am recovering from my voice. I'm not able to talk fully, and it's kind of hard, you know, keep going and whatnot and get all my thoughts together. I'm not feeling the best, but I'm getting there. Okay, thank you for everyone that's been showing love and support. If you want to go ahead and join our crew, man, join the gang, whatever you want to call it. I don't really know a name for y'all yet, but make sure you like, comment, subscribe, share the video, all that good stuff, man. There is a membership giveaway for those who are lucky enough to not only enter but win. I've already gave and done, well, and named 3 winners of the 10 total winners that I'm going to do for this particular giveaway. Okay, I am going to be doing a 1-month membership for anyone on any platform, any server that you're playing on, EU, US, Nintendo Switch, Xbox, PlayStation, PC. It does not matter whatsoever at all. I will get you that membership. But look, make sure you enter by entering on the previous videos. I have 2 videos up right now explaining not only how to enter, but what happens if you win and how, you know, that process and protocol is for that. So make sure you check out them. Check out a whole bunch of other videos I have on the channel. I've got a whole bunch of videos to come. I'm start editing my videos, so I got some entertaining videos, informational videos, some funny videos, and some stuff all in between coming out real soon. So stay tuned for that. And you already know my monthly giveaways. Some of them first come, first serve. So definitely turn on that post notification bell and set it to all, not personalized, because you will miss some stuff on personalized, as opposed to all, where you may be able to get some things. Okay, and if you want to get into the chat that I have here, the Cherry TJ chat, you're more than welcome to in game. I record all my videos in it, so you're more than welcome to hit me up and join. Sometimes if I'm doing a first come first serve, you're able to get a little bit of exclusive, a little bit of edge or advantage on everyone else, because you're in the chat, man. That's on you. So it's one of the benefits of getting it, man. Without further ado, man, shalom.